What is a phylogenetic tree? And how do you make one using dinosaur species? And what is a species anyway? Welcome to the Natural History of Dinosaurs. My name is Benjamin Berger. I'm a paleontologist teaching at Utah State University in the heart of Utah's dinosaur country in Vernal. In this video, I'll explain how paleontologists name dinosaur species and also how they determine a species' relationship to other known dinosaur species. So what is a species? So a biological species has a very specific definition. A species is a population of organisms that interbreed in nature and they produce fertile offspring. Now, this is the definition used by all scientists, but it has a problem when applied to fossilized dinosaurs. We can't test whether one dinosaur individual was breeding with another dinosaur. In modern organisms, we can look at the genetics of living individuals to see how much interbreeding exists in a population. But with fossils, we're only left with the morphology of the fossilized bones. So how do we define a dinosaur species? Now, there are a few different ways of defining a dinosaur species, but it's a little bit more subjective than living organisms. First, what we look for is a unique derived trait, such as an extra horn. And we call these traits an autoopomorphy. Second, does more than one specimen exhibit that trait? Especially if it's found in similar rock layers, so representing the fact that they live together. Now, this increases the likelihood that there was a population of dinosaurs with this extra horn. Now, if contemporary specimens show a range of this trait, that horn might just be part of the population's variability, such as sexual differences or related to the age of the individual specimen. And there's lots of population variability. So the more dinosaur specimens you have, the better you are able to distinguish a species. Now, the best defined species are ones with many individual specimens so that population variability can be accounted for in naming a species. But often, many dinosaur discoveries are unique and isolate fragmentary bones, which make naming a dinosaur species rather difficult. This is Uintahbasin jusculeus. It's a new dinosaur species, and I've just named it. I've published a paper on this new bone that I found. And now I'm going to be a world-famous dinosaur paleontologist. Note that the species names are binomial, with the genus name, the first name capitalized, Uintahbasin, and the species name is in lowercase, jusculeus. The genus name can be shared with other species, kind of like a surname, while the species name is like your first name, but the combination of the two is unique. Now, species names are italicized or underlined when written out. But how is it that Uintahbasin jusculeus, my new exciting species name, is not one of these other dinosaur species that have already been named? We just know my new discovery from one fossilized bone, this femur bone, and it looks like all of these three other species which are known from complete skeletons. Oh no, we have a problem. The term nom dubium is often assigned to dinosaur species. It means dubious name. Often paleontologists get really excited when they find a dinosaur fossil, and they often just name it. But often we can't tell what species they belong to because we don't have enough of the skeleton to distinguish them as a new species. Most dinosaur names are actually, in fact, labeled nom dubium because of this fact. Oh no, my amazing new discovery, Uintahbasin jusculeus, is not a valid name. And worse yet, we don't even know what species it belongs to. Let us now look at how we can use the morphology of dinosaur bones to figure out who is related to whom. Let's build a phylogenetic tree of our three dinosaurs here: Corythosaurus casuarus, Lambeosaurus lambii, Acrosaurus stingbringii. We notice that there are three characteristics that distinguish each of the dinosaur species: the shape of the skulls, the height of the thoracic vertebrae along the back there, and the presence of ossified tendons along the back of that top dinosaur there. We can write a character matrix to record the presence or absence of these traits in each of these boxes. Both species A and C have rounded skulls, while species B has kind of a unique pointy skull. Species A and B have low height along the back, while species C has kind of a slight sail back there. While species B and C lack tendons, and species A has them. Note that in our character matrix, traits are shared between more than one dinosaur. We can then use these traits to construct a cladogram or phylogenetic tree. These trees group species together based on the number of shared traits. In this tree, Corythosaurus casuarus and Lambdasaurus lambii are more closely related to each other. Note that trees can be depicted like this. The intersection of branches are called nodes. Also note that trees can be rooted or unrooted. A rooted tree basically selects a species to represent the base of the tree. Now in paleontology, this species is often the oldest species, the one found at the lowest stratigraphic position. Two species that are more closely related are called a sister group. Note that we can map on the various traits of the dinosaurs. Here we can group Corythosaurus casuarus and Acrosaurus stingbringii together based on the shared trait of having rounded skulls. This tree shows that the rounded skulls evolved from a pointy skull. One way to test this is to look at additional skeletons of an outgroup, or more primitive or older dinosaur species. Here is Nyctiosaurus saccharinius, a closely related dinosaur from Japan, which also has a rounded head. Thus the presence of a rounded head is primitive. Using an outgroup species can allow scientists to assign character states to either primitive or derived. Now often these are coded as 0 for primitive and 1 for derived. But you can also have other numbers or multiple states for various traits. Now in real life, you may want to look at more than just 3 characters in 3 species. Here is a published character matrix of the group of dinosaurs that these 3 dinosaurs belong to. Note that there are 94 characters, each coded with 0s and 1s. For many species of dinosaurs, using this character matrix published by Evans and Risen in 2010, we see that the rounded-headed dinosaurs Corythosaurus casuarus and Acrosaurus stingbringii are a sister group compared to Lambdasaurus lambii with its pointy head. Throughout this series, we'll see many phylogenetic trees just like this one. Using trees, paleontologists can group species into a hierarchy of groupings. Now, the method of naming species and the higher groupings of organisms was first proposed by Carl Linnaeus in 1735, but added to over the years. Here we have the groupings of Tyrannosaurus rex into a genus, family, order, class, phylum, and kingdom, which you might remember from high school biology. In the age of phylogenetic trees, using large character matrices, the limited number of groupings, such as family, order, class, phylum, makes naming the branches on trees kind of a challenge. Here is a phylogenetic tree by Mark Lewin and others of Tyrannosaurus rex and related species. Note that the species is included in many branches that are bracketed by different colors. So there's a Tyrannosauridine, a Tyrannosauridae, a Tyrannosauridae, Coleosauria, Tendinura, and Theropoda. Now each of these higher groupings just represent larger branches on the same tree. In dinosaur taxonomy, that's the study of names, the old Carl Linnaeus system has often been replaced by a more fluid system of names assigned to the branches on phylogenetic trees. Now today it may be more challenging to name a new dinosaur species, but it's easier to name a new group of dinosaurs. So now you should be able to employ the methods of phylogenetic systematics in the assemblage of a simple cladogram or tree of 3 species from a simple character set.